So last week we were talking about सो किछ करे जो चित न होई तिसदा हुक्म मेट न सकै कोई हुक्मे वर्तै अमृत बाणी हुक्मे अमृत पee-aavni-aa. And the message was, he does what is his will, and most of the time it is not within the perception of any single soul. So kish kare, he does it. What does he do? Jo chitte na hoi, what nobody thinks about, what nobody imagines, suddenly presents itself. And once he presents himself, tisda hukum made na sakke koi. That will now cannot be denied by anybody. Tisda hukum means his will. Made means to deny it, to erase it. Tisda hukum made na sakke koi. Nobody can deny it now. Nobody can do anything. Well, why is that? It is because hukme varte amrit bani hukme amrit pee-aavni-aa. Because the entire universe moves according to his will. All of the grace, all of the blessings, and by the way, all of the difficult time also. That part is very difficult to swallow. Why bring in the difficult time? Why not only amrit? Why present the difficult time? Because he knows that his design is such, human will not learn till human is hit in the forehead with a 2x4. So once in a while he takes the 2x4 and hit. Once in a while he hits the individuals. Once in a while he hits the entire country. Once in a while he hits the entire humanity. Think about it. Can the humanity forget the desecration of 6 million innocent people in gas chambers? Is it possible to forget that? Around the globe. Not just by one person, not just by Jews or not just by Germans. Even though the drama was played with the Germans and Jews, instigated by one person. But the drama was at such a large scale that it became the lesson for the entire history, entire humanity. When the dramas are local, I am in conflict with you, you are in conflict with me, he is okay, she is okay, so then why you and I are only in trouble? Because that lesson is just meant for you and me. Hence, it will not go anywhere. All local stress is meant to teach that particular soul a lesson. has a choice. Soul can learn the lesson and grow. And soul can become stubborn and say, I will not learn this lesson. Would anybody come down and say, no, wait a minute, you should learn this lesson? No, wait a minute, that's your choice. You don't want to learn the lesson? I'll just make it a little bit more difficult next time I come around. You can postpone it. You can say, I will not learn this life at all. So that's okay too. I'll carry this forward to your next life and present it to you then. Which explains why our experiences are different from each other, even though we may be born to the same mother, in the same time, same space. As a matter of fact, we may be even twins. But our life experiences are not the same, even though our physical body is the same. But our emotional body is not. So our experiences are different, because the journey of the soul is different. Who designed this? It says His will. You can't challenge it. You cannot change it. All you can do is make up the mind when an adversity is presented to you, learn the lesson. And what is the toughest lesson to learn? Kill the ego. The most difficult lesson to learn: kill your ego, subdue your ego, control your ego, become humble. And if you say, no, I am not, I am somebody, say, okay, you be somebody now, I'll come back later. Under different set of circumstances, and the lesson will still be the same: control your ego. But the circumstances will be a little bit more complex. The pain will be a little bit more. The price will be a little bit higher. But that's His will. The entire drama of plus and minus. जो किछ सो किछ करे जो चित न होई, तिसदा हुक्म मेट न सके कोई. Nobody can change this. Nobody can resist this. All you can do is either learn it or escape from it or avoid it. That choice you have. If you learn it, your journeys start getting easier and fewer. Sooner you learn, lesser number of cycles you will have to make. You can learn in one lesson in one life or in 50 lives. He is not in a hurry. Where is he going to go? Why should he be in a hurry? The drama goes on till eternity. Hukme varte amrit bani, hukme amrit pee-aavni-aa. It is His grace that He sends these valuable words to the humanity. But there are very few who taste it. Hukme amrit pee-aavni-aa. Very few taste it. Why? Because learning any lesson is painful. What is the pain? Oh, I have to be admit older you grow, more difficult it is to admit. You mean to tell me I have spent all this life doing everything wrong? And those were the exact words used in one of the talks on Wednesdays. You've been doing everything wrong. I didn't say you're doing everything wrong. It's for you to decide. And if you have been doing everything wrong and you find out today, isn't it better you found it before you died? How would it feel that you are on your last breath and you suddenly find, oh my God, I've been doing all this wrong. Now you have absolutely no time left to do anything about it. Isn't it a blessing that you just discovered and you are alive and you can do something about it, even if it is for a day, for an hour? Wouldn't that be useful? But instead of counting that blessing, we say, no, wait a minute. I'm not going to throw my entire life out for this nonsense. This is all I have for my whole life. I have lived by these rules. What were the rules? I am somebody. I'm a man. I'm a king. I'm a breadwinner. Oh. So you want somebody and garland you, give you some prizes and recognize you and blow some horn and say, this guy has been earning all his life. Oh, you are so unique. Nobody else is doing that. But the ego is ego. Ego's logic is always very strange. And it sounds good to the person who's presenting it. To the others, it will sound very childish. The others will say, you lost your mind? That's a very egotistical thing to say. And you will say, no, wait a minute. That's not ego, that's self-confidence. There are two words in Hindi language. One is called abhiman, which is ego. The other is called svay-abhiman, which is self-respect. And everybody will just switch these words around. This is not abhiman, this is svay-abhiman. This is not ego, it is self-respect. Do you mean to tell me I should not have any self-respect? Well, let me submit to you. If you are a mystic, if you are a spiritualist, that's just play with the words. Just play with the language. Why? Because in reality you are actually doing zilch, zero, nada, nothing. You are like that little doll that's dancing on the stage and the people are clapping because they are watching the doll dancing. Who's pulling the strings? Is the doll making the faces? Are moving the legs and saying the dialogue? Even though that's all you are seeing. I'm sure we all have seen puppet show. We always say, And this is a standard joke of every puppeteers. Somebody will say, where did you get this dummy? And the puppeteer will say, I designed it myself. And the questioner will say, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him. I'm asking him, where did you get this dummy? It's a matter of perspective. Who is the dummy? In the drama of life, we are all dummies. And the strings are being held by a master puppeteer. He was pulling the strings, and the dummy sitting here is saying, well, hey, I was earning all this life. I was feeding this family all this life. This family has turned out to be completely ungrateful. And he's sitting having a laugh. And he's sending the message again and again. Hey puppeteers, wake up. You are just a puppet. Learn the lesson now. So if you learn the lesson, what will happen? ajab kamm kartay har kayray, e man bhoolaa jaaNdaa fayray, amrit bani chit laa-ay, amrit sabad vajaavani-aa. If you learn, what will happen? Ajab means strange, very different. Kamm kartay means the actions. But those actions are har kayray. Now the actions will sound very strange because now you start working as if you are the puppet and he is the puppeteer. Provided you learn the lesson. Everything will change. And the people will immediately recognize it and they'll come and say to you, what happened? You have changed. It is not a gradual change. It is not an evolution. It is a revolution. It happens suddenly. One moment you are like this, the next moment you are like that. It's not a gradual change. Because you just got the message. The moment you get the message, you are transformed. And that transformation will be obvious to you and to everyone around you. Because every action is now being done as if it is done by him, for him, to him. And then, eh man bhoolaa jaaNdaa fayray. Fayray literally means a circle. Now this mind will come around completely as if you have turned around. You are going in an opposite direction. You are not moving in the same direction any longer. It is a very, very common phenomenon. You might come one evening home and call from outside, honey, I'm home. And she will think some stranger is calling me because he has never said, honey, I'm home. What happened to him? Let me go find out. Who is this strange man calling me, honey, I'm home? The voice sounds familiar, but the behavior is not. it will become a suspect right away. What is it you want? Nothing dear. Why are you behaving so strangely? Now the one you saw yesterday is gone. This is a new me. From this point onward, you will only see new me. What is that? Ehe man bhoolaa jaaNdaa phir. This mind now will forget the old. It will turn around and behave like amrit banee chit laa-ay. Now his entire thought process, chit, jaaNdaa, consciousness. His consciousness now is attached with amrit banee, that pure, that truth, that word which has transformed him. Amrit banee chit laa-ay, amrit shabad vajaavani-aa, and all he will be. Literally, you know, when you go to the bathroom and suddenly everybody becomes a singer. In Punjabi language it is a gunganana. You are just mumbling those words. You are not a singer, you know that. But everybody in their own bathroom is a singer. Why is that? Because something from inside is blossoming out. Amrit shabad vajaavani-aa. That word will start resounding from within you. Within who? The one who has learned the lesson. That is a catch. If you don't learn the lesson and you refuse it, nothing happens. You remain the same. The misery goes on. Khotay kharay tuDh upaa-ay. Khotay means the false coin. Kharay means the base, the right coin. He says in the universe, positive and negative, right and wrong, good and bad is all by your will. Because these are just the labels that humanity has created. All of us have gone through this experience, right? You pick a coin and the coin gets rubbed on the ground and you give it to the shopkeeper and say, no, this coin is bad. You say, is this, I didn't mint it at home. No, but I don't want this. It's a bad coin. What makes the coin a bad coin? Think about it. A coin that's minted by the same government, out of the same metal, with the same stamp. It comes out in the world, after a little bit of journey, it suddenly becomes a bad coin. Nobody wants it now. What happened? Some choices on the way weren't right. So when he starts, when the mint starts minting the coin, they're all good. Right? It's only the journey, the subsequent journey, which makes a coin good or bad. Khotay kharay tuDh upaa-ay. You gave somebody a choice. Somebody made one choice, it turned out to be good. Somebody made this choice, it turned out to be bad. But they are both your creator. They are both your creation. That's how the drama goes on. The choices are determined by the individual. Just as he is presenting you a lesson and say, change yourself now. You have lived this life focused on this aspect. Drop it now. And we say, no, I'm not. I'm not dropping. Look at our entire effort is to continue a certain behavior exactly the same way as we were when we were born. All scientific development effort is that. Extend the reach of the senses, the life of the senses. So, the choices are made by us. But we came from the same place. When he sends us a message that you need to change, we say, I'm not paying attention. You know what is the first message? We have talked about this. What is the first message from the Creator that you need to change? The first time you see a gray hair in all those brown, black, blonde, first time you see that hair, that's the first message. You need to change. So what do we do? To hell with you, I'm going to color it. Or I'm going to yank it. I'm going to pull it out. Every time you pull it out, it sends you more. Every time you color it, the following week he reminds you again. You will get tired, but nature would not stop reminding you. You need to change. What is this? Isn't it a reminder? The eyes are not seeing that anymore. Time to change. I'm not listening, I'll buy the glasses. Then the hearing starts going. Well, I'm not listening, I buy a hearing aid. Then the skin starts getting weaker. Well, I'm not listening, I'm going to buy the pills. isn't it? Your physical life is over. Accept that. Move on. You say, no, I'm going to extend it. I'm going to go to a chemist. I'm going to say, give me a pill that make me feel when I was 29 or 19. I say, sure. We don't listen to the nature. We avoid, postpone, push it back. Then our skin starts getting wrinkly and shabbier and say, well, I'm not listening, I'll go get a facelift. Then our bones start breaking. All right, I'll go get a joint made of titanium. It will never break now. Knee joint, hip joint, wrist joint, collar joint, discs in the spine, it doesn't matter. We just keep on and on and on. What's going on? He's saying the human is refusing to listen to your message. It's making the choices so that it doesn't have to face up and listen to the message you are sending. Khotay, kharay, tuDh, upaa-ay. The reality is they are yours. You created them. But you created them in your perfection. You gave them a certain span to enjoy that perfection. And then you started sending the signal. Time to pack up, get ready to come back. Now focus on something that you need to do in this lifetime. The time to enjoy senses is over. But no, I don't want this to be over. The reality is, I was so busy making money for these ungrateful wife and children, I didn't have the time to enjoy any one of the senses. So it's my turn now. I'll extend that life surgically, chemically, or any which way I can. When you go on that route, you make that choice, what happens? To the aapay, parkhay, lok, sabaa-ay. The parkh means to test. So you start now checking the choices. You start testing. Are the choices the correct one or not? If the choices are extending the life to the outer world, you are going to continue throwing them out. And if the choices are for the inner world, you're going to start saving them. Look at the words. Beautiful. Kharay, parakh, khajaanai, paa-ihi. Khajana means the treasure. You know the treasure is usually closed. All the safes are locked, right? Every valuable is inside the safe. So what is his khazana? What's his safe? Anybody who is going toward the inner, you start accepting them to yourself. And those who are not, those are making the choices for the outer world. What happened to them? Khotay, bharam, bhulaavani-aa. The false coin, the false choices will stay in that duality, bharam, the illusionary world. Bhulaavani-aa, bhoolaa means lost. They will be lost in the outer world. That's how it is designed. And you are not going to change it. You are not going to question it. You are not going to ask the rhyme and reason for to satisfy your curiosity. Why did you make it that way? That question does not belong to you. You have not been given the right to ask that question. So what do I do then? Having heard all of this, internalized it, what should be done then? क्यों कर वेखा क्यों सलाई गुर प्रसादी शब्द सलाही तेरे भाने विच अमृत वसे तू भाने अमृत पee-aavni-aa. क्यों कर वेखा? Oh God, then help me. क्यों कर? How? Vaykhaa means how can I experience that state? How can I internalize that? Kyun salahi? What should I say? What are the words I should use? What language should I use? When the question is there, the answer is right next to it. And the answer comes, Gur Prasadi Shabd Salahi. Prasad literally means the grace. Gur means that master. Get that grace from the master. Who's the master? The one who has been there. Who's gone there? Who has experienced that? Take the word from him. Do what with that word? Shabad means the word. Salahi means to say it. Get that word from the master and start using it. And if you do that, Tere paane vich amrit vasse, then spending the life according to your will, making the choices presented by you under your guidance. Because when you send me the message, I should surrender and say, I heard you. Instead of saying, I'm going to make sure your message is never visible to me, never audible to me, I'm going to block out. And I have particularly experienced this in this country more than my entire childhood in India. Particularly true of the female population. They can forget everything in their life. They will not forget coloring their hair. If a certainly a require comes up to go to a party or etc., you rather not go to the party because you forgot to color your hair. I am not going to the party with my white roots showing to everybody. As if the color is telling them that you are not aging. They are, but you are not. I shared that with you, my personal experience, when I was going through the heart surgery in Singapore. I had my beard open, just completely flowing around, and my wife was walking me slowly in the ward, and some Chinese family were looking from their door from inside. They came out from the room and they saw us both walking. And one of the Chinese women turned to my wife and said, "Grandfather?" Neither I nor she responded back. And so, well, they made your day. It is so important. What is that? That's called vanity. And we maintain the vanity in every possible way. We may be broke completely and in debt from head to toe, but to the outside world, they better not know. The image must be maintained at any cost. But if you have heard the lesson, heard the message, and implemented it, yes, I heard you. I stood in front of the mirror, I could see the wrinkle under my eyes. Now I'm going to go to a beauty consultant and say, well, how do I make you? And they have perfect foundation to put, perfect brush up to put, right? You know it. This will not show your wrinkles any longer. Only you would know it that you have wrinkles under it. That means you haven't heard the message. That message should have made you humble rather than vain. That message should have sent you in the direction of saying, I better start getting ready. It doesn't mean that you are committing a suicide. It basically means you are pulling yourself away from the life of the sensual pleasures. That's all. Nothing more. Which is, tere bhane vij amrit varse. Bhane means in your will, according to your order. Then the life starts changing according to his order, according to his will. His will is, up to here, you are playing the game of senses. From this boundary onward, you are going to start free yourself, detach yourself, pull yourself back from the senses. Tere bhane vij amrit varse, tu bhane amrit pee-aavni-aa. It is your grace that will help to get closer to you. It will make me worthy of your amrit. Amrit shabad, amrit harbani, sadguru sayvi-ai, hriday samani, nanak amrit naam sukh-daata, pee-amrit sab bhoolaa jaavani-aa. If you follow that path, if you hear this message and you internalize that message, Sadguru sayvi-ai, hriday samani. Hriday means pull inside your heart. Hrida literally means the heart. Samani means it should become part of you. It should merge. This memory should merge with you. And if you do that, then nanak amrit naam sukh-daata. The eternal bliss, sukh, the eternal bliss comes from following on this path. Sab bhoolaa jaavani-aa. All kinds of yearning, hankering. Bhukh literally means the hunger. All kinds of hunger, all kind of yearning will automatically disappear. Why? Because you are pulling yourself from the senses. I remember my childhood. As I was the youngest out of the 6 siblings, and as my brothers grew up and they got married, and they would want to go out to see a movie or go for a walk in the park or something like that, and they will ask the parents to join them, and my parents used to very, very lovingly say, "Son, it's your time now. It is your turn now. Just go ahead. We'll wait for you. We'll keep the dinner warm for you." That will be it. They knew when to withdraw back from the world of senses. This culture is exactly the opposite. This culture actually glorifies an 85 years old man marrying a 29 years old girl. It glorifies it. Now they are glorifying, there is a show on the television called Cougar. The older woman want to keep their youth alive, so they are now hunting for the younger men. And they are glorifying it. When will they work on their next life? Do they have time? Do they have inclination? No. Nowhere. No school, no college teaches them, no university teaches them. Society is glorifying the life of senses around them all the time. I am chastised every time I say, "I'm an old man now." What's wrong with you? How old are you? You can see the white in my beard. That has nothing to do with it. You can color it. No, I don't want to color it. Why? Because I want to remind myself every time I look in the mirror that I'm not a young chick anymore. And I don't want to confuse anybody else looking at me either. Why? Because I have heard the message. And I never want to forget it. The sensual pleasure's life is not. The soul's pleasure life is important now. Flesh's pleasure is not anymore required, not needed, not desired, not sought after, not hankered, not chased. I have heard the message. This is what we are being told today. Hear the message. Once you hear it, you will implement it. Once you implement it, you will get worthy of His grace, worthy of His blessing, worthy of that eternal happiness. So that's the hymn at page 118, 119. We'll take a pause here. If anybody has any comments or questions, they are welcome.